Hi, me again. I wanted to talk about my favorite number, 1146. Kind of a weird number. Um, yeah. So when I was 16 years old, I woke up 3 nights in a row at 1146 on the clock. It was a digital clock, and every time I saw it, it just hit me like bam, 1146. And I was like, oh wow, that's really weird. And as teenagers do, they pick favorite numbers, and we always told each other whether your favorite. Oh, my favorite number's 7. Mine's 13. I'm like, yeah, mine's 1146. No idea why. I kept it for a long time, about 10 years. And then when I met my husband Jamie, he was a Christian. He is a Christian. Was a Christian. And I ended up getting a Prophet's Bible, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of like a dream interpreter thing where, you dream about a bear and you go find out what a bear means and, try to find meaning with it or something like that. So this dictionary is the same, yeah, similar, but it's all like connected to scripture and stuff. And so like, what does God say about it kind of thing? What does God say about the bear? Kind of thing. So anyway, I opened this Prophet's Dictionary, and it said, there was like a preface, just like a little paragraph, and it talked about the Prophet's Mantle, and about how, like, from what I understand, I have to really look back at it honestly. From what I understand, it was about like when a prophet is known, they have some kind of countenance with them. It's like a robe that they put on to say like, I'm a prophet of the time. And that was kind of interesting. And then I started looking through the Bible and the dictionary, the Prophet's Dictionary, and I realized that all the entries were labeled. So that was kind of interesting. So like they had 1,600 entries of things to look up, and I was like, oh, I wonder what 1146 is. Like, because it's my favorite number. What could it be? And when I opened it up, it said it was the Prophet's Mantle. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I just read that. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. And so it went in depth about, this robe and, countenance and, what the prophet does, prophetic things and that. So I thought, okay, this is really cool, and that. So few years later, didn't really think much of it. A few years later, I went to a ladies' retreat, and I was having this amazing spiritual experience with God, and I was gifted a robe in the spirit realm. Hard to explain what that even means. The robe is like it's a healing robe, and so when I put it on, or when it comes on me, I really don't know how it works, guys. It heals people around. Or awakens them up. Honestly, I really don't know what it does, but I do have it. I've got this thing. And so when I put it on, I was in worshiping God at this time. There was a bunch of people around in this big kind of community hall kind of thing, and I heard the scripture, the train of his robe. Train of his robe. You have to remember that scripture, guys. Fills the temple. Fills the temple with his holiness. It's not coming to me. Glory. That's what it is. The train of his robe fills the temple with glory. Haven't heard that one in 10, 12, 13, 15 years or something. So it's kind of cool. All these scriptures are coming back. And so I ended up having this robe on, and it was really interesting because it was like, it's iridescent. It's really long. When I got into the car, I actually left. When I left the retreat, I actually had this robe still on, in my mind's eye. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a dream, or just like imagining that it's there, but I actually could feel it, like spiritually, that it was there. And I remember getting in the car and feeling like the train of this robe was like stuck outside of the door. I had to like, I actually like energetically or manually, I guess, took my hand and like scooped it and made sure that it like was, I'm just gonna, like you have a giant wedding dress or something. So I like scooped it in and then closed the door and that. So driving home, it was kind of interesting because I had this robe on, and for what I realized, it's like this Prophet's Mantle, which is kind of interesting. So anyway, we're driving along and we're on our way home. We're on a spiritual high. Everything's really like woohoo. And I have a Corvette come up, just riding on my tail, just like swerving, showing me that he's there. He's like, getting in the, in my rear view, kind of trying to get my attention. And I was like, you know what? I'm just vibing. Like, I'm just going to drive, normal. I'm not going to, do anything. And then in the next moment, I actually saw the train of this robe come out of my car. And it was so long that it went onto this Corvette. And it just, I don't know how to explain it, guys. That's just what happened. Anyway, so this train of this robe came out and was on this, or in this Corvette, and it was starting to impact the guy. I could feel it. I could feel that something was happening to him. And it was so interesting because right after that, he just totally backed off, and he was probably 8 car lengths behind me, and we just traveled probably for the next 45 minutes together. He could pass me. There was lots of time for him to move ahead. I stayed consistent or whatever. It was just like something impacted that guy. And that's when I knew, even though I don't have proof, guys, because faith is things that are unseen. Don't have that scripture, guys. It's coming. They're coming back in little pockets. Faith is the belief of things are unseen, maybe. Yeah. So anyway, I got my Prophet Mantle back. I actually put it down, or forgot about it maybe, or like, after my son died, I was just like, I'm done with God, like half my family's dead. So like, I don't really want to worship a God that doesn't feel that loving. So I just, went into depression and addiction, and I put all that down. Well, through this process of manifesting, all of a sudden that mantle came back, and I started seeing before this came, I should say, 1146 kept coming and coming and coming. It was everywhere. It was actually comical that it was like on the back of a vehicle. There was another 1146 on a digital clock in a movie on top of a fridge. It was there. So that was interesting. So I was seeing all these 1146. When I went to the island with my friend I told you about before, that the code was 6411. I was like, oh, it's 1146, guys, and it was just everywhere I went. It was just like funny, and then all of a sudden I was walking one day, and it was just like it's just like God put a backpack on me, like maybe, I don't really know how else to explain it. I could feel it was there. I could actually feel this weight of this robe. And as I'm walking around, people are looking at me so strangely. It's different. I'm still wearing the same weird clothing all the time. It's not that. It's like there's something about me that people are noticing. Last week I had two people. They nearly jumped out of their vehicle. They had their windows down, and they were like, hey, hi. And I was like, hi, I don't know you. Hi. I'm like, okay, that's weird. It happened twice. And I actually looked behind me. There's no other vehicles, there's no one around. I was like, okay, like, is somebody seeing me? Are they seeing something that I don't really know. And now I feel like I have the power, maybe, or whatever. I don't really know the answer or the word, but I could just put it on. I can just put it on and walk around, and I can feel this thing just impacting people as I go. Like, it's just like loaded with healing energy. It just uplifts people. I don't even have to say anything. I don't have to preach the gospel. I don't have Jesus saves. I don't have to do that. I just put this thing on, and people are positively impacted. And I know it. So it's pretty cool. Like, my spiritual gifts are coming back. I really don't know how to use it, guys. I don't know how to use it yet, but God's teaching me. And yeah, so stay tuned for more information about that. And yeah, wow, this is quite a wild ride.